Welcome to the Promptsmith's Almanac. My name is Josh, and I have been reading a biography on Albert Einstein lately. It's the Walter Isaacson one, if you're familiar with it. And, I've said in previous videos that a whole bunch of things can inspire songs, and one of those things came from this Einstein biography. What's really interesting about Einstein is, other than the fact that he basically came up with a lot of his ideas as a side hustle while he was working in a patent office, is that during this time, he is in a relationship with, and actually has a child with, a woman named Meleva March. And no one in Einstein's family wants anything to do with this woman. They cannot stand her. They think that she is beneath Einstein, that she has too many ambitions, which was not good for a woman of the time. All around negative view. They thought she was too homely, too plain, and so a very negative view. So it's like a real life Romeo and Juliet kind of situation, except her family seemed to be fine with Einstein. So I wanted to write a song about that scenario because I haven't really experienced anything quite like that. I think it's an interesting conundrum when, your family actively tries to undermine your romantic relationship. So I wanted to dive in and explore this a bit further through song, because why not? That's my favorite medium of expression these days. So we're gonna write a track about that, and it's not gonna be about Einstein specifically or Meleva specifically, but it's going to be about that situation because it's a fairly common one. I mean, your family's not always going to get along with your significant other, and in spite of that, sometimes you have to soldier on and stand up for them, and every family has conflict, but this is an interesting situation. So I want to make it a pop song. I want to make it sexy. I want to make it upbeat. I want to add maybe some R&B tinge to it, but for now, let's dive into the lyrics here. So for this song, I'm thinking if it's a pop song, pretty straightforward structure. I'm not going to do anything unorthodox here. Gonna probably aim for 2 verses, a bridge, and a chorus. I don't even know if I'll do a pre-chorus. I might not. We'll see. All right, so I want to call it Noise, I think. I've settled on that because it's kind of like in sports when there's distractions from the media and you want to succeed, you have to focus on the people around you and the task at hand. And I think this situation is very similar, where if you let the noise about the relationship, marriage, whatever it is, get to you, then you lose sight of your strength and your bond as a couple. So here we are here. We're going to start with verse 1. And I gave myself a few lines here. Forget everything that your mama said about me. Right away we have the conflict in the first line, so I really like that. I can heal the leper and help the blind to see. So this, and we're going to make this a male vocal. This is very much like I'm a badass, basically. Like, this person is equating themselves to Jesus pretty implicitly. And it's not direct, but it's omnipresent, so to speak. Take off that leopard print you got on under those jeans, okay? And then there's the sexiness coming in. And now we need a 4th line. And the 4th line, if you've watched these videos, is always the hardest because it's easier to think in 3s. But let's see what we can do here. Put down that phone and roll me over as though we were teens. I am going to do a pre-chorus. Why not? Because the chorus is going to be really simple. Pre-chorus. Yeah, so this is really the bad boy archetype here that we're going with here. So all the comments from your family and friends. We have got a pre-chorus and a chorus pretty much together already. Comments from your family and friends, dislike all night just like they intend, but when I look in your eyes, eyes, and see in your mind, mind, I. Chorus hits, block out the noise. Noise, block out the noise. Noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Noise, block out the noise. Okay, I'm pretty into that. And I will likely keep that fairly consistent. I know sometimes I make subtle adjustments, but we'll see here. All right, on to verse 2. We're telling a story, so there has to be some kind of forward momentum. Here, you no longer take my calls. Do they get so involved? My reflection ain't easy, simple to solve. All right, verse 2, you no longer take my calls. Why do they get so involved? My reflection ain't simple to solve. Made us a space, but you didn't want it. Made us a space, you didn't want it at all. Made a space, you didn't want it. Okay, we'll copy the chorus and the pre-chorus. All right, we have a song. So, wrote a bridge here. Romeo's got a megaphone. Oh no. Juliet having sweet regret. Oh yeah. Romeo says he's gotta go. Oh no. Juliet bums a cigarette. Feeling like such a hypocrite. I'm feeling like such a hypocrite. Then we get the chorus outro again. And what's great about this is now the noise that this narrator, Romeo character, is blocking out is the guilt that his character is feeling for essentially running away from the relationship. Pretty cool. So we start with, and this all happens in the writing process, at least for me anyway. So we start with blocking out the noise from the family. We end with blocking out the internal noise that's going to cause him to ultimately betray the Juliet character. Fascinating stuff. So I'm excited to see what Suno will do with this. I do want to revise, because if you give too many words in parentheticals, like I did in this second pre-chorus, Suno just isn't able to work with it usually. But the oh no's and the oh yeahs should be just fine. All right, so we got all of our lyrics here. We're just gonna go ahead and copy and paste into Suno. And we've already got it on the custom setting, which is what we want. Max customization for sure. Everything looks... Yeah, so in verse 1, our narrator hero, the Romeo character, very, very dominant, you know, instructions, really demands, you can say. And then we get to verse 2 and there's like this apprehension and, you know, I'm concerned about the influence of the family, and by the time we get to the bridge, he's the one running away. So we see this a lot in relationships. Someone's insecurities ultimately self-destruct the entire relationship. And so that's what we have here in the song. And that wasn't necessarily the intent from the jump, but as I started writing this and conceiving the story, it kind of gave itself away, basically. If you follow the characters, they will lead you to the story more often than not. I firmly believe that. That's a quote that many writers have said in a variety of different ways. Start with interesting characters and let them lead you to where the story naturally goes. And that's what we did here. It's no different in songwriting. So now we got to go to our styles here. Make sure we end with a proper chorus outro, and we do. We're gonna do pop is what we'll start with. Dance pop, indie pop, I guess we'll add as well, because I want it to have some interesting, quirky aspects to it. Well, maybe not. Dance pop, what did I do for some of these other pop songs? Sometimes I like to look at the descriptors for others. Dance pop, bright, sexy, smooth. R&B we'll put in here. R&B pop, synths for sure. I'm gonna put an arpeggiator in here. We're gonna put up-tempo, urgent we'll put. Advanced options, this is where it gets good. Exclude styles, and metal I always exclude. Rock, we're gonna exclude indie because I do think I actually want this to be more of a pop track, a conventional pop track. Country, hip hop. Vocal gender, definitely male. Weirdness, we're gonna up to 60. I usually do this. Style influence, also up to 60. Song title is noise. Added one more descriptor, throwing dream in there because I like that. Sometimes it gives me better synths. We've got solid options. Let's take a listen.
me over as though we were teens. Comments from your family and friends, disliking all night, just like they intend. But when I look in your eyes, and see in your mind, block out the noise, noise, noise. Block out the noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Block out the noise, no, no. Block out the noise. You no longer take my calls. Why do they get so involved? My reflection ain't simple to solve. Disliking all night, just like they intend. But when I look in your eyes, and see in your mind, block out the noise, noise, noise.
This is
block
just
out
fun.
the noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Block out the noise. Romeo's got a megaphone. Juliet having sweet regret. Romeo says he's got control. Juliet bums a cigarette. Feeling like such a hypocrite. I'm feeling like such a hypocrite. Block out the noise. Noise, noise.
That vocal scoring over the top. Like icing on a cake.
Let them scream it louder
That was very reminiscent of the weekend. Earlier weekend. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Forget everything that your mama said about me. I can't heal the leper under held blood to see. Yeah, take off that leopard print you got on under those jeans. Put down that phone and roll me over as though we were teens. Comments from your family and friends, disliking all night, just like they intend. But when I look in your eyes, and see in your mind, block out the noise, block the noise, 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 noise. Block out the noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Block out the noise, the noise. You no longer take my calls. Why do they get so involved? Yeah, yeah, yeah. My reflection ain't simple to solve. Made a space, didn't want it at all, at all. Comments from your family and friends, disliking all night, just like they intend. But when I look in your eyes, and see in your mind, block out the noise, block the noise, 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 noise. Block out the noise, 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 noise. Let them scream it louder now. Noise, 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 noise.
All right, so I like both of those. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up with a neat little gimmick here, and we're gonna save both of them. The first one, we're gonna change the title noise. I'm gonna call the first one Day Mix because it just sounds brighter. And we're gonna save that. And we're gonna call this next one that's a tad longer the Night Mix because I like them both, but I wanna be able to differentiate them. I think both stand on their own quite well, and there are a handful of tracks that I have done this for in Suno. There was one, the Bedroom Pop song that was covered in a different video. Since the bedroom, I did Jane's room for the female vocal version and Joe's room for the male vocal version. And then I also did a regular and club mix for Introvert Anthem as well, which is also one of the videos on here. So, very happy with how Suno handled that. I think Suno is really good at handling pop adjacent tracks, whether it's indie pop, whether it's R&B pop, as this had that vibe, dance pop. I think that's really in a lot of ways its wheelhouse. I think it also handles indie folk really well. And I would say that those two genres are the ones that I tend to focus on because they give me the best results. And they just sound the most organic to what Suno brings to the table musically. So musically speaking, I thought that was really well executed. It makes you want to dance, but it tells a story at the same time. And I think that's what a lot of pop music is missing. And I think that's because it's hard to do, especially on the lyric front, to go that extra mile when you know people just want to vibe with a song and just want to groove to it. But I think there's something special about having a story in the song too. And I know so many people hate on songs like Copacabana, but there's a bit of a story there. Is it the most well-told story? It's pulpy, but you know, it's there. And I do really like that about music. So, if you like what you're seeing, do hit that like button, subscribe as well. If you have recommendations for genres, song topics, songwriting questions in general, please feel free to hit the comments. And yeah, thanks so much for watching.